Well, good morning, everyone. May the good Lord bless you. You all, in this video, I decided that to take the day off from stonemasonry work. That job's almost finished anyway, the hardest part of it. And I was thinking last night about, I changed the name of my channel to Appalachian Old Timey Skills. And what I'm going to do today is take you all for a ride through my part of Appalachia, just a little part of it, and show you why it became what it is and why the area got populated. Of course, different parts of Appalachia, from the Georgia mountains over into western Tennessee, all the way up to Pennsylvania and beyond. Wherever the Appalachian Mountains were, there would have been an industry that eventually would draw the people into where the pioneers lived, because the pioneers that started this particular community here, where the Rocky Gap Community Spring is, was in early 1700s. So that's how old this place is. But the main industry here in the beginning was logging. So little railroads were built into the area, and I think I've said that before on video, to take the logs out. Eventually, the coal fields from West Virginia, which is only starting a mile from here, we will go through the East River Mountain Tunnel, and then we will be actually in the coal fields of West Virginia, which stretched all the way from the southern border of West Virginia all the way up to Pennsylvania, over into Kentucky, and in those areas of northeastern Virginia. So our major industry was the coal fields, and I thought that I would take you folks for a ride who've never been in any coal fields and show you what it looks like at this present time. To me, sometimes it's a little bit of a depressing ride, but I like to show people where and how the population in this area went from farmers and people who lived in their little log cabins and growed their own crops and stuff, to where and how it came into existence that people had plenty of money to spend on other things besides just the cows and the chickens and all that kind of stuff. So go with me for a ride through my Appalachians. All right, you all, I just left the spring. Here's the lazy little town of Rocky Gap, Virginia. Don't blink. Because just in a few seconds, you're going to see the very school that I got out of the 6th grade in. Where my kids went to school, and I guess where their kids is going to go to school as well. There it is. So you basically just seen Rocky Gap, Virginia. So you all, when you go through the East River Mountain Tunnel going north, you will be in West Virginia in about 30 seconds, because it's halfway through the tunnel you're in Virginia, and the other half of it you're in West Virginia. And right at the present time, we just entered into West Virginia, because Virginia and West Virginia are split by the top of the mountain. This tunnel's just about a mile long. And when you come out of the tunnel, you will officially be in the city limits of Bluefield, West Virginia, which is where we're going to drive through first. Now you all, I thought I'd start the ride through Bluefield. We are downtown Bluefield, West Virginia. That tallest building you see right there on the right, I spent 7 years as the maintenance supervisor in that building. That is a housing project for the elderly and the handicapped. It's a little community in itself. I used to call it Little Peyton Place, but I worked there for 7 years as the maintenance supervisor. It was the West Virginia Hotel at one time, built in 1922, and it was one of the fanciest hotels in West Virginia, the tallest building in southern West Virginia, now the West Virginia Manor. And of course I can see it from this angle now because they've tore all the older buildings down that were once blocking the view from this street right here. Anyway, we're in downtown Bluefield, West Virginia. All right, you guys, you can see that you have major railroad coming through Bluefield, West Virginia. You can see what's loaded on those cars. That's the very reason that Bluefield, West Virginia exists in the shape that it's in. So you all, Bluefield was the major hub in our area because of the fact that there was just a place to come to bring the coal, to ship it out of this particular area of the coal fields. So naturally the bankers set up here, hotels set up here, restaurants, and people moved in so that the people who did have jobs and everything that you see around here would have had to have been coal related in some way or another to cater to the people, whether it was restaurants, hospitals, gas stations, whatever it was. They moved into this area to cater to the people who were here because of the coal mining industry. Now we're going to head north on Route 52. Now, I was just sitting over at the spring on Route 52. This is the old road that went through the coal fields and built because of the coal fields. So we're going to cruise right on down Route 52 north towards Bramwell, West Virginia. You all, first little town we're going to come through here is Bluefield, West Virginia. Just a little lazy coal town. Now you'll start seeing signs as we go along that will tell you that you're headed toward the Hatfields and McCoy trails. People come from all over the country with their four-wheelers to ride the Hatfields and McCoy trails. It's right, they're riding through old mining camps and strip mines and places like that. You can see the four-wheelers in West Virginia. You can ride your four-wheeler on the highways. It's legal. And on Saturdays, we might even see a bunch today, I don't know. But there is a big industry down here now for four-wheeling. So that's just one of the things that we will see along the way. People getting ready to go on the Hatfield and McCoy trail. Now these roads are crooked. There's no question about that. Because we go up the hill, over the hill, around the hill, down the hill, under the hill. To get to where we're going. several state parks on this route right here, you all. The first one is Pinnacle Rock State Park. You can see Pinnacle Rock right there. Now, I've got a couple of videos of me at this park. We're not going to stop here today, but right there it is, Pinnacle Rock State Park. In just a couple of minutes, we will be into one of the richest towns in West Virginia. As a matter of fact, they had more millionaires in West Virginia in this town than anywhere in the country at one time. That's one of their claims to fame, is Bramwell, West Virginia. So right here, you all, we're going into the historical town of Bramwell, West Virginia. You talking about going up a holler or being up a holler? Every town down here is up a holler. But you think about the millions and billions of dollars that flowed through this town. Back in the old days, these streets would be lined with people. Now there's just a couple of restaurants in town. One of them being the Corner Diner right there. Did you see it? But more millionaires lived in this town than in any other town in the United States at one time. But now, you all, the coal industry is gone. It's basically dead. I mean, there's coal mines operating, but nowhere's near the amount of coal and jobs like there used to be when I was a young man. So I'm going to show you just in a second or two here just what some of the not having any jobs in this area has done. If you take a look right there in the distance, you all, right out of the town of Bramwell, there's a community with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 houses in it. Nobody lives here. Nobody lives here. No coal, no jobs. Mayberry, West Virginia. Now, you all, I used to drive a truck on this road right here. In the 1980s, I worked for a construction company. I used to drive a truck every week all the way to Kentucky on this road right here. In those days, these yards would have been full of kids playing, and it would take you literally all day to go from Bluefield, West Virginia down to Kentucky and back. All your houses with nobody living in them, you all. Then got one little old place where somebody lives in. You can see the railroad down there, and you can see houses right down in there as well. We're probably 600 or 700 feet up on top of this. Every holler around here. Generally had a coal mine up it at one time. This little community that if you bat your eye you won't see is called Upland. No schoolhouses in these towns anymore. That right there was a schoolhouse, you all. Now we're in Powtown. Now, 30 seconds later, we're in Kyle, West Virginia. Seconds later, we're in North Fork, West Virginia. No coal, no jobs, no people. When I used to drive through here, you all, this place would have been literally covered up with kids on the sidewalks. Grocery stores, department stores, everything is closed and fallen down. About 1 mile later, we're in Keystone, West Virginia. Now, if you've never heard of Keystone, West Virginia, look up the history of Keystone, West Virginia. There is some really, really interesting history about this particular little town right here. Of course, we will pass the Keystone mine down here in a minute, but do you see any people in this town? And they've got the view of the mine blocked off, you all. The mine, I don't think, is in operation anymore. Right there it is. When I was a kid growing up in school, there was always these older boys saying, hey, let's go to Keystone. For whatever reason, I'm gonna let you folks figure that out. Just look the history of this place up. You can't hardly find a soul down here anymore. Look at the houses up here on top of this mountain with the stuff growing on them. Money used to pour through here by the tons. You know, I hate to go through the old towns like this and it have a negative effect. But when the rich take what they want out of the mountains, the poor don't have nothing left. The grocery stores is gone. I'll show you here in a few minutes. Even Wally World left. Walmart left this area because they had no money for anybody to spend there. You all are in the town of Kimball. You can see that railroad tunnel right over there. Here we go. Once a bustling little town. One little business right there. One little store. You thought you lived up a holler. We're at Wally World. Good old Walmart. I used to bring the kids down here shopping years ago. Believe it or not. And like I said, I hate to put a negative spin on this video. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just showing you that in my part of Appalachia, when the rich take what they want out of these mountains right here, they leave the poor with absolutely nothing. Walmart don't care anymore because there ain't no money here for people to spend. Do you have a food bank in your community? Almost every community has a food bank. The reason I'm showing this one is this one my brother started over, I think, about 25 years ago. Maybe more than that now, I can't remember. Actually, this one was in a Mike Rowe episode. I can't remember which one it was, but he helped put a new roof on this food bank right here. Part of the town of Superior. There's no question about it here, you all. You can't see left or right 100 yards in any direction unless you turn around and look up and down this highway. That's how straight up and down the mountains are down here. I don't know how deep this valley is. It looks to me like it's about 1,000 feet deep in this particular area. That back there looked like public assistance right there. So now you can go to Coalwood. How many's ever been to Coalwood, where the Rocket Boys are from? We're going to go up this road right here, you guys, and bypass this particular section right here. We're on the outskirts, you guys, of Welch, West Virginia. Another one of the probably major towns in this area. Look at the stone walls they had to put up to keep the mountain from coming down on the road right here. But if you'll take a look up, what do you see? You just see mountains. Of course, here in a moment we'll be right downtown here. We're following a deputy sheriff right there. Alright, you all, we're back to Bluefield, West Virginia. That's about a 60-mile round trip, a little more than that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go across this mountain. You guys see me going across all the time. Instead of going through the tunnel, we're going to go across this mountain right here. See where it says East River Mountain Scenic Overlook? That's the old road, Route 52. We fixing a cruise ride up it. All right, you guys, we're standing right on top of East River Mountain. We just drove 35 miles in that direction into the coalfields of West Virginia. So you all, I'm going to end this video at the place where I've spent most of my teenage years, right here on East River Mountain. My favorite place. My kids were born here. Mom and Dad lived here for years. So we started living up here in this particular place, you guys, about 67 or 68. I can't remember now. But we're going to stroll over here and look at this old house where me and Libby used to live and where the kids were born. And my favorite place, I tried to buy it from the lady who owned it in North Carolina, but she wouldn't sell it to me. And after I made her a genuine offer for the place. And after I moved, she sold it to somebody else for less money than I offered. But anyway, I'm going to walk over here and just show you this old house and why I hate dilapidated places, because I'm a pretty sentimental person about some particular things. It's sad to see it in the shape that it's in, you all. I gardened all this over in here. I used to mow this lawn, guys, with a lawnmower with a rope on it. The hog pen was up there. I boxed in that front porch with glass so that we would have a sun porch that you could set out in any weather, just about. You can see the kudzus taking it over. There's Mama's old rose bush. And of course, the other property line there. We used to live out this road in another old house. I forget the fella's name who owns this. There was part of my workshop, blacksmith shop. Of course, this was the parking lot. Stone steps, a stone wall that I was talking to you guys about building. Right there it is. There was a deck right here. That was our bedroom. The sun porch. And believe it or not, you all, I laid these stones over 40 some years ago. Now, I'm watching for snakes, you guys. I laid this stone bench. I've got a picture of my son sitting on it, that right there. There's some of my stonework. Over there's the old workshop. Up there behind that stuff is the old gazebo. We used to sit out here and eat our food. This was like a little kitchen. There's the rug that I laid. Kitchen cabinets that I built. There's where the Fisher stove set to heat the house. The hole in the wall. Of course, here was the bathroom and living space. That's the only bathroom we had up here, you guys. It was indoors. I put that tub in there over 40 years ago. And you can look what this place looks like now. My son's room was upstairs. I put that set of folding steps in, the old mirror. I don't know who owns this place, but it's completely, guys, dilapidated. I left that old desk here, the closet, a hole I cut in the ceiling to let the heat circulate back in the old days. This was me and Libby's bedroom. And here was the view. Right out my front door. So, with that, you all, I'm going to scoot on out of here. I thought that I would just come up here. It's been a long time. I see the very plumbing here, guys, that I put in this house. All this copper. But the rug I laid when my son was about 3 years old. My daughter used to hide under them cabinets right there. If you couldn't find her, the little booger would be sitting back in there looking at the food. That's about how tall she was. But I built these cabinets. They're still just like I built them. Built the wall cabinets. The old sink was already here. I'm not going to go downstairs, guys. I don't know how much light there is down there. See how they got it all piled up? Well, I might just stroll down there anyway. This goes downstairs. See the stone wall? I built the stone wall, you guys. Used to stack my firewood over there in the corner for the winter time. That's the way it looks now. If you see this crooked tree, there used to be a fork that went up right here on this tree right here, you all. I put the cable on this tree. My friend Eleanor, who was dating my brother, came up here to see him one time and stayed till around midnight. I put this cable back across the road here so that she'd have to stop and open it. What she didn't know, that I was standing on a tree limb way up here above her. In the pitch dark, poor Eleanor got out to open this cable up, and I just spoke her name. Eleanor. Folks, she about died right on the spot. Anyway, you guys, that's about it for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, we hear a lot about Appalachia and where people live in Appalachia. So if you want to take a ride in your part of Appalachia and do a video about it, there's plenty of them out there. But if I tried, you guys, to do a story about Appalachia and take let's just say a ride through Appalachia in my area through the coal fields, it would probably take me 2 or 3 weeks to cover every bit of Appalachia, and that would just be a little bit of what you would actually be allowed to drive through. With that, you all, may the good Lord bless you. Until next time, so long for now.